welcome to AFRICUNIA television news update, reaching from the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. On the African scene today, we begin from the Republic of Congo. The Congolese army alleged the Rwanda army was backing an active rebellion in the eastern DRC, which Kigali denied on Tuesday. The move comes after months of growing suspicion and decades of mistrust. To back up his accusations, Congolese General Ekenge said 2 Rwanda soldiers had been arrested during Monday's attack and gave their identities. Since the massive arrival in the DRC of Rwanda, Hutus accused of massacring Tutsis during 1994 genocide, Rwanda has been regularly accused by Kinshasa of incursions into Congo and of supporting armed groups in the east. And in the Republic of Ghana, Ghana's parliament approved a new contested tax on electronic transactions known as E-levy. The bill will introduce 1.5% taxation on electronic money transfers. President Nana Akufo-Addo's government claims it will help raise over $900 million and address the problems of unemployment and high public debt. But for some Ghanaians, the tax represents an additional burden on top of the high cost of living, with fuel prices rise following the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Members of the opposition refused to take part in the vote and walked out of the assembly, describing the tax as unfair. And in Nigeria, as families and friends mourn victims of the terrorist attack on the Kaduna-bound train on Monday night, Nigerians have continued to lament the spate of recent attacks. The orgy of attacks in Kaduna State continued yesterday after terrorists at the weekend attacked an airport and followed it up with Monday's rail track explosion at Gidan train station along the Abuja to Kaduna rail track. It was gathered that the terrorists planted explosive device on the track. This is the second attack within 24 hours along the same axis, and at least 8 persons were killed in Monday's attack, which happened at about 7:45 p.m. at Duse village in Chekun local government area. A few kilometers from the Rigasa train station, among the dead was a dentist Chinelo Megafu Nwado, who was said to have recently resigned from a job and was planning to migrate to another country. Chinelo Megafu Nwado had taken to Twitter shortly after the attack to announce that she had been shot and solicited prayers. She was later confirmed dead, while her remains were deposited in the mortuary of the St. Gerard Catholic Hospital, Kaduna. Also yesterday, bandits attacked the Kaduna to Abuja highway where they kidnapped some travelers. It was learnt that some motorists plying the road were blocked by the bandits and taken to an unknown and disclosed destination. And still in Nigeria, the World Bank has said that poverty reduction stagnated since 2015, with more Nigerians falling below the poverty line over the years. According to Washington-based bank, the number of poor Nigerians is projected to hit 95.1 million in 2022. It added poverty reduction in Nigeria appears to have stalled in the last decade, according to both backcasting and survey-to-survey imputation techniques. The best estimates from the backcasting approach suggest that the poverty headcount rate at the international poverty line was 42.8% in 2010. This is only slightly below the analogous estimates from inputting into 2011 and 2010 GS from 3.5%, with poverty dropping by at most a few percentage points over the last decade. The absolute number of poor people is likely to have climbed, given Nigeria's rapid population growth. Given the effects of the crisis, however, the poverty headcount rate is instead projected to jump from 40.1% in 2018 and 2019 to 42.0% in 2022, implying that the number of poor people was 89.0 million in 2022 and will be 95.1 million in 2022. Taking the difference between these scenarios, the crisis alone is projected to have driven an additional 3.8 million Nigerians into poverty in 2020, with an additional 5.1 million living in poverty by 2022. And still on the African scene, Statistics South Africa population Tuesday its quarterly labor force survey. The results for the fourth quarter of 2021 show that the number of unemployed people continued to rise despite an economic growth on the same period. The results of the quarterly labor force survey QLFS for the fourth quarter of 2021 were published on Tuesday by Statistics South Africa. In the fourth quarter of 2021, the official unemployment rate reaches a historic 35.3%, which is the highest rate since 2008. This report covers labor market activities of persons aged 15 to 64 years, and the results show a 0.3% rate increase compared to the third quarter of 2021. Decreases were observed mainly in manufacturing, followed by construction 25,000, utilities 14,000, and transport 13,000. And away from that scene onto the foreign scene, coronavirus infections in Asia passed 100 million on Wednesday as the region records resurgence in cases, dominated by the BA.2 Omicron subvariant. The region is reporting over 1 million new COVID-19 cases about every 2 days. With more than half of the world's population, Asia contributes 21% of all reported COVID-19 cases. The highly contagious but less deadly BA.2 subvariant of Omicron has pushed the figures to greater height in the recent weeks in countries such as South Korea, China, and Vietnam. BA.2 now represents nearly 86% of the all sequence cases, according to the World Health Organization. South Korea leads the world in the daily average number of new cases reported, accounting for 1 in every 4 infections reported globally each day. While the number of cases have leveled off since earlier in March, the country is still reporting over 300 deaths on average each day, with authorities ordering crematoriums nationwide to operate longer. Earlier in March, Asia passed 1 million COVID-related deaths, and there have now been 1,207,586 million COVID-related deaths across the continent. And moving on, Britain will take a very skeptical view towards any promises coming from Russia about Ukraine and will respond to Moscow based on its actions, not its words, Deputy Prime Minister Dominic Raab said on Wednesday. He said, and I quote, "I will be very careful in taking at face value what is coming out of Putin's war machine," adding that room for diplomacy must still be made. Ultimately, they need to be tested by their actions, and they need to withdraw from Ukraine, not just reposition. End of quote. And still on the foreign scene, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on Wednesday in the eastern Chinese province of Anhui, where China was set to host 2 days of meetings on Afghanistan. The reports gave no other details on the meeting, while Tom West, the U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan, will attend a separate meeting at the same venue of the so-called extended Troika. The China, Russia, and the United States plus Pakistan, a U.S. State Department spokesperson said. The meeting does not include Lavrov and Wang. The talk comes against the backdrop of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and as Afghanistan suffers an economic and humanitarian crisis worsened by a financial aid cutoff following the Taliban takeover as U.S.-led troops departed in August. And away from the foreign scene onto the sports scene, the Egyptian FA says its players, and Mohamed Salah in particular, were the subject of racist abuse from Senegal fans during the World Cup playoff. It also claimed Senegalese fans threw bottles and rocks at players during the warm-ups and attacked the team bus as it approached the stadium. The Egyptian FA posted pictures of the incident to its official Instagram account. Liverpool forward Sadio Mane slaughtered the decisive sport kick in the penalty shootout to send Senegal to the World Cup finals at Egypt's expense. A statement from the Egypt FA said, "The Egypt's national team have been exposed to racism with offensive signs in the stands against the Egyptian players in general, and Mohamed Salah in particular." End of quote. And finally, Arsenal midfielder Thomas Partey scored the goal that took Ghana to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar as it forced a 1-1 draw in Nigeria on Tuesday to win the African playoff on away goals. He struck after 10 minutes in Abuja, and although another Premier League star, William Trust Ekong, leveled from a 22nd minute penalty, Nigeria failed to score again, and the first leg ended goalless. The Black Stars of Ghana are back in the World Cup finals after qualifying in 2006, 2010 and 2014, while missing out 4 years ago. And that's all from us on News Updates on AFRICUNIA Television. To stay connected and updated with news and other programs, follow all our social media platforms on Twitter, Pangram, Instagram, and Facebook in their respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, and remember to always leave a comment on the comment section. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me.